All right, so not much exciting going on here other than me opening up the Breville Essenza Mini. So this is a little tiny espresso pod machine that uses the capsules like this or like that. So not the big kind of half sphere ones like for the bigger Nespresso machines. These are the smaller ones. Of course, normally I like my my regular espresso machines, and I don't, not one to go the lazy route of using the pod machines. But I need a new machine for work, and I've had a regular espresso machine down there, and that one's just kind of broken down on me a few times. And I think I want one that I can keep in my office instead of the break room. There we go. So that's what we're getting out today. If any of you are out there right now, please jump in the chat for me, because aside from there, I can't tell that you're there. I did just invite my friend Bob to the live stream, since it's kind of lonely in here right now. So I gotta say, as far as the brand Breville, I've been really happy with Breville, with most of the machines. That one I mentioned that I've had at work, that one has been a pretty big failure. I'd say a really big failure. Let's see if we can get a little more jazz going here. So yeah, generally I like Breville. After my experience with that last little espresso machine, I guess what I would say is maybe we do need to avoid the low end of Breville. But I do have a friend who has this one, and it seems like it's been pretty good. We've got the drip tray. And we've got our little kit there. Let's see what they included with this. Did they give us some coffees? Or is this like cleaning solution and everything? Oh, they did. They gave us a nice little selection there. So you can see mini pods. That's nice. That's thoughtful of them. No one wants to get a machine, open it up, and then realize you've got no coffee that you can make. You're all waiting for the exciting moment where we pull the actual machine out here. You can see the whole selection. If I had not gotten this one, which is the Essenza Mini, I probably would have gone with the Pixie. Right, there we go. Now we've got everything out. So, water tank. You go, and that's it. So this system here works. Just pop open the top to throw in your pod, and it's got its catch basket right here, where it's going to catch the used pods. And then your drip tray just hangs right there on the front of that. I'm just looking because it seemed like that should have seated back in there a little bit more. All right, let's fill our water tank. All right, you can see I've only gone part way because I am only going to do 1 cup tonight before I pack it up to take it to work. All right. Oh, better get a cup too. So what should we do? Try one of these? Which one is going to be dark? Oh, there's the darkest. All right. So one moment, I'll get a cup and you'll get to see it in action. Bob, are you there? Why don't you jump in the chat so I can see that you're there? Oh, I see somebody's in there. Is that you, Bob? You should type something in the chat so I can tell. All right, I'm ready with my espresso cup. We got our pod, even ready with my sweet and low because I'm not hardcore enough with my coffee drinking yet to want everything just simple black. So we just drop the pod in the top there. We drop the handle down. Now we've got two little buttons on top. One is for the espresso and one is for, I don't know if I can show you this from that angle. You see those two little buttons? So the left, the smaller one there is for your espresso, and the one on the right is if you've got the pod for a regular cup of coffee. Of course, in which case you would probably have to take the drip tray off to be able to fit your cup under there. So hitting it once should turn it on, and we got both lights blinking like that. And then pressing one more time should start the brewing. Yep, now I just see the one light lit on the espresso button. There's the money shot there, right? You can see it's got a pretty decent crema on top. Not bad for a little pod machine. All right, that made a mess. Okay, so I'm going to do my usual. I'm not even heating up my milk. I'm using half and half in mine. This is my routine because as much of a coffee addict as I am, I'm a lazy coffee addict. So usually my morning espresso is just a double shot with a little bit of cold half and half poured in it. And yes, I just drink it like that, lukewarm. And for the last few months, I've done away with, where normally I would have used maybe some Torani vanilla syrup. Try to cut out the sugar, and so now I'm using sweet and low, and that's been very tolerable. So, cheers. Let's see how it is. That's decent. That's decent. That's very passable. Not bad at all. Now, what some of you may be interested to know, so I've tried a few different brands of the pods. Again, I've got one friend who has the same machine. I had another colleague at work who had the slightly larger machine, the Pixie. And so far, I'm a little surprised and embarrassed to say that my favorite has been the espresso. Not that Starbucks would normally be my favorite coffee. Now, when it comes to beans for my Breville Barista Express, I usually use Pete's Espresso Forte for that. I do lean toward the darker roasts, and I know that makes me less of a refined coffee espresso connoisseur. Fortunately, I've backed off of where I was in my early days. In the early days, it was all about the burnt French roast. So I'm curious to try this Pete's dark roast, being that Pete's is normally my go-to bean. So we're going to find out. Anybody have any questions to throw in the chat? Is anybody still here? Or Bob, are you just texting me? Yeah. Any questions anybody wants to put in the comments? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to go grab a towel to clean up the little splatters from the. That is one of my gripes, that they do tend to get pretty dirty, but I guess, that's just part of the coffee business. So you remember that I mentioned that we've got the catch basin in here for the used pods, but there's nothing in there yet because it doesn't fall in there until you open it up for the next one. Now it drops in. Now you can see it there. So again, this is the Nespresso Essenza Mini. And like I say, I do have a little bit of a bias for Breville equipment. Let me see if I can tell you which machine it is that failed me. I'll pull it up here on the screen here in a second if I can. Oh yeah, that's it. It's the Bambino. All right. So hang on here and I'll get it up on the screen. Yeah, so that is one machine that I definitely do not recommend. Whatever you do, avoid the Bambino. The first one they sent me was defective. The replacement that they sent me was weak from the very start. And it may be that they basically tell you in the description when they talk about how many bars of pressure it provides. All right, there's the description on Breville's website. Okay, that's not helping us. See now there you're looking at one of the better machines. As long as you don't go with that low end with Breville, you'll be in good shape. Anyway, so back to what we've got here. I guess I don't have much more to talk about. Bob, did you make it into the live here? Oh, there you are, Bob. Yes. Bambino Mafia coffee. Yeah, so Bob, I think you missed most of the show, but this is what I just took out of the box. The Nespresso Essenza Mini, because I needed a new machine at work because that Bambino failed me. So this one is a pod machine. It uses the little pods like this. Pop that open, drop them in the top. You may have seen it before. You know, it's not as cool as your stovetop espresso maker. But not everyone can be cool like Bubba Ludwig. I'm telling you though, this does make decent espresso. I've definitely had worse espresso from many restaurants. This espresso may not be quite as good as your average espresso bar, but it's definitely better than any restaurant that claims to offer espresso. Yeah, you're helping me out here, Bob, because this is the first live I've done with comments during the live. So you're allowing me to actually see. Watch this. I'll show you my other view here because I'm doing my streaming using OBS, Online Broadcast Studio. So I know that gives you the endless mirror there, but move that up out of the way. What you're able to see in that lower right-hand corner is my chat window. See that? I guess I can make the scene easier, not drive everyone's eyes crazy by doing that. Yeah, for any of you out there who are doing live streaming, I'm interested to hear what you're using for it. The only two that I played around with are OBS and Streamlabs. And Streamlabs was definitely, it was almost like the difference between Android and iOS with iPhone. I would equate Streamlabs to iPhone. Like, it had a lot of really cool, out of the box, great looking graphics and cool stuff. But a lot of it was also very much more like gamer streaming oriented. And I found that OBS was much easier to customize, much in the way that being able to customize everything on your Android phone is a little bit easier. So for me, this has worked out. But one of my major frustrations has been that I can't do everything that I can do on YouTube live streaming on TikTok live stream. I can still sort of use my OBS, but when I use it in conjunction with the TikTok live streaming app for Windows, it doesn't let me take all of my audio out. For example, here on the screen you can see I've got my desktop audio running. I can't like funnel everything through OBS and pump it into that TikTok live streaming app. Here, I guess there's not much more to see here on the table, so I can bring our camera back up this way. There I am. Bob, you still there? Let's actually fix this. Hang on, BRB while I put away the half and half. All right, so I'm back here. Let's put that back aside. Let's go back to our view there. Any other questions about coffee machines? So, once again, as a reminder, that Bambino is one that I do not recommend. Let me show you the one that has been my standard, my favorite, my home machine. There it is. But it's gone up in price. Wow. Yeah, this is the machine I use at home. And I'm telling you, this is a fantastic machine. It's solid for home use. It's beyond adequate, but it's also an excellent machine for someone to use if they're just getting into learning how to make espresso and how to balance how fine the grind is, how much grind they're putting in there, how hard you're tamping it down, and all of those variables. Making espresso is really about all those different variables, because you've got to tweak them all to get them just right. One of the things I like about this machine is if you look up there, you can see the little pressure gauge, and that pressure gauge gives you a range here that you want the needle to be in when you're brewing your espresso, when you're pulling a shot. If you find that needle is going far beyond that range, then it may be that your grind is too fine, or that it's too hard, too firmly tamped down in there, so that the machine is really having trouble pumping that water through there. On the other hand, if it's not even getting up in there, it's likely that your grind is too coarse, or you didn't tamp it down hard enough, or you didn't put enough grounds in there. Another thing I like about this machine, so of course it's got the integrated grinder. Anytime you're into espresso making, you want to have a burr grinder, not a blade grinder. A blade grinder isn't actually grinding it, it's chopping it. A burr grinder actually crushes and grinds the beans. And so this one has an integrated burr grinder. I mean, the downside would be if that thing breaks down, you've got all your machine is together. But for the first timer starting out, I've had mine for over 5 years now and haven't had any trouble with it. And I've used it pretty heavily. I mean, it's at least pulling several shots a day. Another thing I like right up here, you see this is the tamper that has a little magnetic receptacle there that it sticks in right there. And another aspect that I like about that tamper is that little silver line there is basically your guide to tell you how far down below the top of the portafilter the espresso is supposed to be tamped down. So that acts as your guide. You're able to take your portafilter and just tap it back into this receptacle here, and one tap, depending on whether you've set it to a single or a double shot up there, one tap is going to fill up just the right amount of grind once you've set your grind amount. So remember I talked about the adjusting, so this is your grind setting, so it sets how much it fills up. This one over here on the side is the setting for your burr grinder to set how coarse or fine you want your beans ground. And then over here on the right, you got two buttons. You got one for your single shot, one for your double shot, and you got a program button, because occasionally you're going to have to reprogram just to make sure that it's calibrated so that when you hit the one shot button, you get 1 ounce of espresso. And when you hit the 2 shot button, it gives you 2 ounces of espresso. The reason you might need to recalibrate is because it might be different with different beans, different grind, different amount of espresso grounds in there. And then let's see if they show you on this side. Yeah, when you look at this side of it, This little knob is for the steamer. So the steam wand here, if you turn this knob counterclockwise, you get steam. If you turn this knob clockwise, you get hot water right out of this little spout right here. So if you were making tea or something and you just need to get some hot water, machine's ready for you for that. Oh, and just take a look at the back. It's got a very large water tank. So depending on how much you're using it, I usually go at least a week or more at a time without having to fill up the water tank. All the accessories you're getting with it. Maybe the one you might not recognize there is this one. That's just the water filter in the back. Notice you've got 4 portafilter baskets. So I want to give you one little insight about the portafilter baskets. So these on the right, I don't know if it'll let me zoom in here. Yeah, I guess I can get in a little bit. There we go. So they're there. So this, maybe you can read there, this is a dual wall filter. So is this one. Both of these are dual wall. Cheaper machines need dual wall filters to help get the crema, that light colored, almost caramel colored foam on top. Higher quality machines, which I would count this as one, you should be able to get a decent crema on it without using a dual wall filter. I mean, basically these are foaming it up for you, not just through the natural espresso shot pulling process. So I would try to go with the single wall filters if you can. The little blade there is also a tool just for measuring and smoothing off the espresso grounds in the portafilter. The machine does have a process for descaling and cleaning that you need to go through every once in a while, but for me, I found it's no more than like every 6 or 8 months. Now, Breville does have some more upscale machines. So a lot of these that have gone like digital now, Barista Pro. Haven't tried it. I'm usually the guy who really likes digital everything. Gotta say, for my espresso machine though, I guess I need to try it. Because my gut is telling me that I prefer my analog pressure gauge. Now, it may be that the more digital machine like this is going to be better if you're new to making espresso at home and you don't really want to go through learning it and dialing everything in and figuring it out. Well, then maybe that might be better. The only thing I was looking to see if this says anything about, I don't think this one has a dual boiler. Hmm. 9 bar. Okay, so bar, of course, that's the pressure measurement. And that actually strikes me as low, but I want to compare it to the Barista Express. Oh, that's nifty. I don't have one of those. So they've got a little tool here that helps keep you from spilling coffee grounds all over the place. If you're basically without that, you just need to make sure that while it's grinding the beans into there, that you're kind of jiggling the portafilter in there so that it's shaking it all down evenly. Otherwise, it'll kind of mound up and spill over the edge. So let's go back to the Barista Express. Let's see. There we go. No, that's also 9 bar. Well, I got to say that my Barista Express 9 bar machine is doing great then. Now I've got to see, though, the Bambino that I'm so unhappy with, what bars does it claim to have? Because I tell you what, that's going to tell me if my Bambino is just broken or if the machine's just a cheap machine. Okay, yeah, there's something wrong with my machine because it's claiming 9 bar too. And I'm telling you that one I got is not pushing 9 bar. So, you know what? I'll report back to you and let you know how they do on repairing that. In the past, one of the things I like about Breville is that their customer support in the past has treated me pretty well. Like I'm talking like, sending you shipping labels and so paying for shipping both ways, sometimes repairing stuff after the end of warranty. Just all in all, they've been pretty good to me. The one thing that I've had a chance to experience through the equipment that we bought for my school, where we had a culinary program and a barista aspect to our culinary program, is that if you can get a machine with a dual boiler, it's much nicer because you don't have to wait for steam. There you go. Problem is that a dual boiler machine is going to run you quite a bit more. But that is definitely what I would be buying if money was not an option. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so dual boiler, meaning that there is always hot water ready to go, either for your espresso or for your steam wand. And it's like virtually instant. And when you see that little lever with a steam wand up on the side there, so all it takes, you get your steam wand in the cup and then just that lever is ready to go, just a flip of the lever and the steam starts. So really nice. I also like this one because it's still got the analog pressure gauge. Of course, notice that it's got the LCD screen. See, and they're still saying that they're still at 9 bar. Oh, another thing that I really liked about this higher end machine is that the portafilter is broader. It's larger in diameter and shallower. It's more true to what you will see used in all of the espresso shops, cafes. So much more of a professional machine, but also what I would still categorize as just a step below. I mean, obviously this isn't the machine for the cafe that's got 3 different spots for portafilters to pull shots, but it is, if you had a small cafe operation or something, perfect machine for it. Black's not a bad look either. Sold out. Look at that. All right. Well, I guess that's it, and I need to sign off because I don't have enough more to say. But if you haven't already, like and follow. Any last minute questions for the chat? I think what I need to do, that's what's going on. I know why that's having a problem focusing on me. There we go. Oh, that's better. All right. Well, thanks again for joining me for the unboxing of the Nespresso Essenza Mini. Definitely a nice compact machine. Great if you need something at work, which is exactly what I'm doing. Very decent espresso, and pretty affordable. So this is an example. I ordered mine on Amazon at, honestly, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it arrived here 5 hours later. I think that was my fastest Amazon delivery. So, yeah. Cheers to you all.